Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Trail Talk. I'm so glad that you could join us this afternoon. Kind of back on the old routine. It's been a little off this week because we don't have any schools coming to see us right now. So there's always that little adjustment. So it's good to see you guys today. And we have a fun and interesting and lip smacking episode for you today. I have some pictures that are not going to make Mary squirm or gag.
Right, yay.
I've got some that are going to
I am here.
literally make your mouth water.
Yay. That's a
Anyway,
little different.
we're live at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center right here in Duncan, Oklahoma. And I'm Edie.
And I'm Mary.
And welcome to Trail Talk, Oklahoma State Symbols and Emblems, the Fruit and Vegetable
Edition.
Yes.
The fruits and veggies of the day.
This is one of my favorite things to talk about with the kids too, because of the vegetable situation. But anyway,
Look at those plump berries.
I know, aren't they beautiful? I love a good strawberry.
I'll take you guys. I don't.
You're
do
not a-
seeds.
you're
Give
not
me
a
the
strawberry.
seeds. Something
Yeah.
about the seeds. I'll do dehydrated. I can do the dehydrated. But something about the seeds, the texture, I guess.
Yeah,
I like the taste.
These seeds don't bother me, but blackberry, raspberry,
Yeah, I don't-
those seeds,
I don't do kiwi either.
no.
But
But
we digress.
yes, in 2005, when fifth grade students from Skiatook Intermediate Elementary held an election to choose the state fruit, this was the winner.
Pick.
Yes, and their teacher Pam Bell asked Representative Joe Sweden to sponsor the bill, and it passed, making the strawberry our official state fruit.
Yes, it is.
And strawberries, I hadn't even thought about it, honestly, can be grown pretty easily here in Oklahoma and can be grown on a large scale.
Right.
I mean, some
Big,
people,
big, plentiful.
yes, yeah, like,
Crops, if you-
I guess, I don't know if there's enough that they would be able to ship them somewhere, but they'd certainly be able to fill up a roadside fruit stand or something.
It says that after an initial planting of 125 plants will provide plenty of fresh fruit and then even enough for freezing or preserving for a family of 4.
Yeah, 125 plants. So I guess
It sounds like a lot, but
look, they are small and you do cook them down quite a, I
yes,
mean,
they do cook down.
when you buy the,
Little pint thing.
or the quart, even the quart size container,
Once you cut them and slice them and everything.
yeah,
it's a little
they're
bit-
gone pretty fast. So, yeah, that does make sense. Very versatile, highly nutritious. 1 cup of fresh berries supplies more than the recommended daily adult requirement for vitamin C. So that makes them healthy.
That's right. They're a healthy sweet treat.
Now, in some of this information, there was, in selecting what variety you
Right.
might want to plant.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
I didn't either,
Strawberries.
It was like sweet or tart.
Right. Yeah, there is that kind of variation.
And I think I'm more of a sweet
Sweet
strawberry person.
Mhm.
I do like to sprinkle sugar, even coconut sugar on the strawberries
berries
and make
and
the juice.
Mhm. I like that shortcake.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
I love strawberry shortcake. That is one of my favorite things. So, when when to plant?
I like to eat these.
You like the pink ones?
Like if I did, yeah, the ones that are kind of tart.
Do you? You're more of a tart.
Mhm.
I wonder.
I
if
was
the-
to eat a strawberry.
Uh-huh.
You know, we had friends that used to grow them, so we'd pick them like that's ones I would eat.
That's funny. I have seen some strawberries that are pink when they are fully ripe.
Oh, they're not.
But obviously
ripe.
growing on a vine with
Right.
red ones, those wouldn't be the
Right.
pink ones. So your most successful strawberry planting receives full sun for most of the day. Shady locations seem to make the fruit not grow
Right,
as
as
well. They also are wetter, and that can cause disease.
Right.
Evidently, growing a strawberry takes the right
right
hand.
net. You have
Yes.
the right Yeah.
Knack is a good word because there's a lot that can go wrong.
You like a tomato. Tomatoes, it seems like you always have to water. I always hear people having trouble and issues growing.
They have that, you have to put that bloom set, spray them, because when your blooms start falling off, I had raised a couple of crops of tomatoes. In fact, I had one tomato that I covered with a sheet and it was still producing tomatoes in January.
Really?
When the freezes would
Right.
come, I cover it. The next year, probably the blooms started falling off and I couldn't get any to grow and I was so disappointed. I thought I was the queen of tomatoes. So it doesn't take much to
Queen
convince
Mater.
me that I can do these things. Anyway, so pH balance in the soil
That's
is
something-
something that you really need to.
You want it between 6 to 6.5.
Right, and you don't want a late spring frost,
Mhm.
which always happens. My parents have an apricot tree.
Mhm.
And every year it buds out and then another freeze
Comes
comes.
through and gets it there at the
Yeah.
end.
Yes, every time. But you should not, the place where you plant should not have been used for any kind of berries, tomatoes, potatoes, or peppers
Mhm.
prior to planting new strawberries.
You want to be aware of what's been there before.
Yeah. And
It helps to
whenever
prevent disease.
yeah, evidently those other plants can leave a disease of some sort behind in the soil.
Right.
So you want to get varieties adapted to your region. Healthy looking, certified virus-free plants. And so they say to buy from an established nursery.
Right.
So if you're gonna plant strawberries, think about it as an investment. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it is going to be time and money.
Yes, yeah, you're gonna be committed up front. You want the strawberries, they will produce good crops if only one variety is planted. In other words, I want some pink ones and I want some red ones and
Right.
pick one
Yeah,
because
otherwise you're
that's-
gonna be overwhelming.
Yeah, some reason they don't pollinate properly. The fruit season can be extended by planting varieties that open at different times. I mean, that kind of makes sense, but then again, you're kind of limited here in Oklahoma on what that season, best season is. Consider preservation, quality, and disease and insect resistance. Choose varieties that you like. Here's the sweet versus tart. And choose varieties, here you go on kind of your restrictions that bloom when you want them to. June bearing varieties are the most successful in Oklahoma. So that's early May to mid-June. They're going to produce one crop. You're not going to
Continuously have them.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it's a grass sod place that you decide you want to put your strawberries, they recommend a year in advance.
Here comes your preparation,
Yeah.
your time
You
investment.
kill off the grass and the grub worms under the ground. You spend that year prepping the soil, prepping the land.
Extra drainage and things if needed.
Yeah, and because of the amount of water, if you aren't certain about how much rain, you need to have an irrigation plan in place.
Right.
And that's not walking around with the water hose and letting the water hit heavy around the
each one,
plants.
right.
It needs to be something that's going to
Roots.
irrigate, at the roots, like those, it made me think of like the water hoses that have the little holes in them.
Right.
You don't want the leaves to get wet, yeah. You need to try to keep it weed free. Also, using herbicides can be too much for the strawberry plants. They're finicky little guys. You don't want, let's see, beds should be narrow, not more than 3 feet wide. And they recommend using like straw, manure, peat moss, or compost and tilling it into the soil for several weeks. This is all still
Weeks
that
before it's
preparation
set.
period.
Right.
And then allow rainfall or water to get on top of that and kind of let all that soak down into the ground and settle
Right.
before you plant. So you're doing this again.
A year in advance.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're doing it a year in advance. You're not gonna see the outcome yet because you're
Yeah.
prepping your area.
So evidently propagating is a common practice, and that's you remove rooted runners from the mother plant and place them in a new strawberry bed. So if you're already growing strawberries, you don't necessarily have to go buy new plants. If you like the variety that you have, you can just cut the runners that have root systems attached to them, cut those off the main plant and go stick those in the ground in this area you've been working on for a year.
Right, right.
And here's something I didn't know either. Some varieties of strawberries have been patented. They have a patent on them. You cannot propagate those. That is, that's a rule among strawberry growers,
Yes, sir.
horticulturists.
That's
This
right.
is the, rule. Didn't know that. February 1st to March 20th is the recommended time for planting strawberries. That seems like a pretty long
It's a long
period of time, but you're probably looking at
Like freezer or
Yeah.
frost in between.
what's Punxsutawney Phil telling us on February 2nd
Right.
about when can we plant.
Spring.
They should not be set out during dry, windy conditions or if extremely cold weather is predicted during the following few days. So what you're wanting to do is give the plants a chance to just
Kind
sit
of
there.
acclimate to the area.
Yes, and not have to fight everything's going on exterior on the top of the ground,
Mhm.
you know. So you're gonna remove all but 2 or 3 of the most vigorous plant leaves from the plants. I thought this was interesting.
Yeah.
And remove all but 2 or 3 leaves and put the strawberries 1.5 to 2.5 feet apart. The strawberry has the potential to produce 30 to 50 runner plants the first year.
A lot.
It is.
So that's a lot
So,
more plants that each
yeah.
plant is producing itself.
That's why you're spreading them out and then you have a
Gaps in between.
3 feet wide row also that you're taking into consideration. They also recommend really taking advantage of that nursery where you're buying your plants, what they
Ask them and
recommend.
their recommendations and things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in other words, if you're an amateur at this, don't go it alone.
No,
Use all the resources.
You're gonna need
This
some-
information is mostly from the OSU Extension Office, and so they know what they're talking about. You don't want to put them too shallow, the roots will die. If you put them too deep, they'll rot. So there again,
just the right
it's
Goldilocks type thing.
yeah, it's a very picky thing. And you don't want them to dry out. Now, this is true for anything you're planting.
Mhm.
I bought a hydrangea recently and it kind of got a little bit wilted on me all of a sudden in the pot before I put it in the ground. So when I put it in the ground, man, I put a bunch of water in
the
and then
ground,
put
then
the
put the
on
plant.
top. And probably within 30 minutes, the blooms were all looking,
Pepped up.
yeah, all pepped up. They were glad to have a drink, so I have to remember that. Okay, so general care during the summer, the runner plants take root in the fall, they build up food reserves. So here's another thing. It's really a 2-year process. Because they
First year
recommend
prep.
the first year you pull all the buds off and don't let the first
Don't
year
produce.
produce a strawberry the first year.
If you think
Sorry.
about it, you're really, for 2 years, you're prepping and
Yeah,
you're not gonna see anything.
yeah. I'm telling
You
you,
want a successful crop.
if I were to go in that hard on a
Better
plant,
produce.
I better be sick of strawberries by the end of the
Third year.
third year for sure. So you've got the wide rows, cultivate, they recommend hoeing or weeding by hand. Again, try to stay away from that herbicide situation. Add nutrients, ammonium nitrate to the ground. You want extra nitrogen there. They recommend taking soil samples and having it tested before it's time for them to start growing.
Even
again.
brush off the fertilizer off the leaves too.
Yeah. Yeah, if you use a fertilizer spreader, which I'm sure you would,
Mhm.
then you're gonna come along, I guess, with a tiny little strawberry whisk broom and just
Brush it
and
off.
brush them off, yeah.
Mhm.
They recommend mulching these plants in the winter and maybe even laying a light covering of straw over the top of them
Mhm.
to protect them from too much cold or having to freeze and then thaw and freeze
Mhm.
and
Go
thaw.
back and forth.
Yeah, that is what's gonna damage your
Mhm.
plants the most. But when you're buying your strawberries, you probably should consider some that are hardy enough to handle,
That kind of
yeah,
weather
yeah.
back and forth.
When it's time to harvest, get this, all of this work, your harvest will vary from 18 to 45 days. So it's almost like the life of a bee. It's essentially the life of an insect is the
Couple
life.
weeks.
Yeah.
3 years of prep and you get 2 weeks.
Yeah. So you better have it's like when the grapes are ripe in the vineyards for the wine, they have to be perfect to
Uh-huh.
pick.
Yeah.
You gotta have all hands on deck.
Everybody just hold off.
Yeah.
Now go.
Yeah. So then you're looking at the different colors to know what your variety, you need to know when it's perfect.
Perfect picking time.
And then the best storage life, 3 to 10 days in the refrigerator. Now, I recently did a little research about washing strawberries and how to keep them because they're the ones that spoil the fastest. This is the fruit that spoils the fastest, in my opinion. And so if you wash them with some vinegar in the water, it will clean them, and then it will also somehow it helps them stay fresh longer.
Really?
Without affecting the flavor.
Huh.
Or so they say. I'm not a big vinegar lover.
Right.
So I will be trying that out on about 3 strawberries before I can give a nod on that. But also about, the not pulling the caps off until you're ready to use them, that somehow preserves them a little bit longer. So we mentioned the diseases and insects, of course, aphids, which I had aphids all over my irises this year. Spider mites, grub worms, strawberry leaf rollers, which sound like a terrible bug, slugs, pill bugs, and nematodes. I do not know what those are. But here's where they recommend using soaps for aphid. I mean, I read that you can put neem oil on some flowers to get rid of aphids, but even a water with some soap detergent in it, because all you're doing is washing them off of the plants. Even just straight up water will wash the aphids off of that. But you need something to keep them from coming and getting back on there. But anyway, there are natural or organic ways to protect them from pests, and that is the recommendation. Of course, you're going to eat these things too, so I wouldn't. I mean, I know you put that 7 dust on things, but the most important thing is to buy healthy, disease-free plants. And the thing about it, if you buy those certified ones from a nursery, you'll probably be protected because they don't show signs necessarily. There's nothing like outwardly visible from most of these situations. They just don't produce big berries or not very many berries. And so that's when you find out that you have wasted some, and common disease of strawberry plants is herbicide injury. So there again is a reason to stay away from them. So I've got another, just kind of here's some strawberries in the process of growing, which
you have some there that are turning and some small ones that are
still a little bit green. Get your little bitty ones up there. I mean, gotta say the foliage looks really healthy there.
Very green.
So the Stillwell Strawberry Festival. I did not know that Stillwell had a strawberry festival. Unfortunately, it was like Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah.
We just missed it.
Yes.
We just missed it, but
it was May 9th.
Since the 1940s, 1948, maybe I'm wrong about that. Anyway,
47.
Oh, okay. Since 1947, they have been having this celebration the second Saturday in May. How did I miss this?
Capital of the world.
Yep, Stillwell, Oklahoma, just southeast of the Tulsa area. Over 30,000 visitors make the trek each year. And they have, it's like a 3-day event.
Really?
Yeah. On Thursday night, this year, they had a band playing called Strawberry Jam. They had a rodeo on Friday and Saturday night. They had a 5K. They have a parade I mean, and,
Everything dedicated
yeah,
to strawberry.
and then they have, strawberry competitions, all,
Jams, I'm sure.
yeah, all the strawberry things, a carnival, just a really fun celebration of our state fruit, the strawberry. So
There's some more.
some of my favorite ways to eat strawberries, strawberry shortcake, of
Mhm.
course, my favorite. I love a good chocolate covered
Good
strawberry.
strawberry.
Those are so good. This one with the pretzel crust
Mhm.
and like the cream cheese stuff in the middle, you guys, I know your mouth is watering like mine. This is one of my I like that one. I actually have a recipe where you make this and you keep it deconstructed.
Mhm.
And then when you're ready to eat it, you put some of the cream stuff down, you put strawberries on top of that.
Mhm.
And then this is like
Sprinkle.
pecans and pretzels baked in brown sugar and butter.
Oh, that
And you
can't be
just
bad.
sprinkle it on top so it
Oh.
doesn't get soggy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then a strawberry pie. I mean, I love a good pie, and a strawberry pie is a tasty, yeah, top notch. But the best way to eat a strawberry is just like
A
this.
strawberry.
Yeah, just pick those suckers
Just right
up
there and
and
Bite
bite.
down.
So good. All right, now, what you've all been waiting for, Oklahoma's state vegetable, the watermelon. I am sure
I'm
you.
sure shock and awe.
Yes, yeah. Pick your jaws up. So there's been controversy from the beginning about all of this.
Classification.
Yeah, but,
protocols.
here in Oklahoma, the watermelon is considered a vegetable.
Officially declared a vegetable.
Officially declared such in
Mhm.
2007. And just to add a little oomph to that, Oklahoma produced more than 77 million pounds of watermelon in 2006.
That's right.
So why was it even a question? We're going to give this watermelon
It's due.
It's due, that's right. So everywhere else it's considered a fruit, but here in Oklahoma, it's a vegetable. So, and it actually passed 78-19. So there were some holdouts.
Yeah,
There were a few holdouts. But Senator Don Barrington, I don't know that he still holds any kind of an office, probably not, but he sponsored the bill. And he said, it's also a vegetable because it's a member of the cucumber family. And just as a note to add to, his status, in 1994, he won a local contest for spitting watermelon seeds the farthest. He's from Rush Springs.
That's right, the Rush Springs.
Yeah.
Watermelon Festival.
Yeah. So he says it depends on who you ask. One of the other senators said that her dictionary referred to watermelon as a fruit, and he said, well, I guess it can be both. Why argue when you got the votes to carry it,
That's
right?
That's right.
So does it still have the honor in 2024? Yes, it does, despite the fact that Nathan Dahm, who I just don't know why you would even go to these measures, in 2015 tried to strip
Strip it.
watermelon from the title of being our state vegetable.
Claiming it was a fruit.
Senator Dahm.
Let
Wait,
watermelons lay.
Yes, Senator Dahm, let the watermelon have its day,
That's right.
please.
That's right.
So it is the fruit of a plant originally found in southern Africa.
Related to that family.
Yes,
Of the gourds.
of gourds, which are the cucumber, squash, and pumpkin, none of which we would ever call a fruit. So why will we call the watermelon a fruit? Just because it's sweet? I mean, it's planted from seeds and harvested from fields like other vegetables. So, it technically falls under that definition of a vegetable is a usually herbaceous plant such as cabbage, bean, or potato grown in an edible part for an edible part that is usually eaten as part of a meal. And raise your hand if you've never eaten watermelon as part of a meal. I don't see any hands.
Right, no hands.
Yeah, so, we're going with it. We're going with watermelon, as a vegetable. So when you're growing watermelon, we've got a few, tips for this as well. Even though, well, like my parents they've grown a watermelon like randomly in their garden or a pumpkin,
Right.
you know, or whatever.
Over there.
But these leaves look very
Huge.
much, and yeah, and they look like almost even squash look like that.
Right.
But they have these very thick vines and these watermelons grow right on those vines. But you can see the soil right here. Sandy soil is the most ideal soil for growing watermelons. It's the
Slightly acidic pH too.
yes, yes, and it can be grown in many states, but the major production is in many areas of the state. There's still a lot of production here in Oklahoma. They do, this article or this information does say that the United States is, I just went blank on the word, importing
Oh,
watermelons.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I
Even
mean,
though
there,
it says that we have over 15 tons per
Yeah.
acre.
so I guess there's upfront costs because it says a grower must produce good yields of high quality melons to show a profit each year. And they can be obtained only with careful management. A good watermelon yield with irrigation is 8 tons per acre. So if you're not sure how large an area of land is, but an acre is, it's about the size of 2 football fields. So if you can get, what did it say, 8 tons? I don't know how many watermelon that would be.
I don't know either.
I mean, when
some
you
of
pick
them-
them up in the store, they're heavy, but
right?
yeah, the average yield is about 5 tons. Ideally, if you could get 15, that would be perfect. Now the problem with planting in sand is wind.
Right.
So your field needs to have a way to have a wind break because they're gonna get sandblasted. Or the soil could
Blow away.
just blow away.
Right.
Exactly. To reduce the risk of diseases, don't plant on land where vine crops have grown during the past 3 years. Again, it was the same thing as with the strawberries. You don't want to risk a disease being left in the soil.
Right.
And it
To be
says
aware of what's there before.
the large producers who will wait even longer than 3 years
Really.
when they rotate the
Rotate
crops.
things out.
Yeah, I guess you could plant something else in that soil that doesn't grow on a vine. It specifically said vine plants, but anyway, it would need to be something that could grow well in sandy
Right.
soil, maybe peanuts or something like that.
Right.
Cotton might grow well in that. So there are ways that you select a good watermelon. It's just like strawberries. You just have to pick a variety that's going to be able to handle the situations that they'll be faced with.
Right, in your area.
Yeah, during the growing season. But there are really 2 things that will hurt, I guess, your watermelon
growth.
crop. You have there's a fusarium wilt and then anthracnose diseases. Those are the 2 diseases that really impact watermelon growth. But then also the light colored watermelons are less subject to sunburn. And we all know when we go get the black diamonds, drive down the road and they have the big black diamonds, they have a yellow. And that might be where they were on the ground, but they're sometimes they can get sunburned. I don't know what that does to the meat inside, but so black diamond, Texas giant, Florida giant, and tender gold are not disease resistant. So that means that the growers around here must have this figured out. because the black diamond is probably the most common watermelon that you would get. This is not. Aren't the black diamond, aren't they the solid green ones?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so too. The major watermelon varieties and types produced in Oklahoma are Charleston Gray strains, Crimson Sweet, Jubilee, All Sweet, Royal Sweet, Sangria, Triploid Seedless, and Black Diamond types. So there are a lot of different kinds. I always liked yellow watermelon
Mhm.
meat. I always thought it was good. When I was growing up in the summer, my mom would get a watermelon probably once a week.
Mhm.
And they were gigantic, and she'd cut them in half, and she'd put newspapers on the snack bar, and she'd put those watermelons out, and she would dig in and cut out a bite, and she had her salt shaker.
Just
And
then
she'd
go
just
down.
cover it in salt and eat it. Now, I was not a huge watermelon fan in those days,
Mhm.
and then I grew to really love them. And now I'm allergic to melons, and I can't eat the dang things, even with salt on them, I'm so mad about it.
You missed your window.
I did. Duh. So the triploid hybrid is what produces the seedless watermelons, which are good.
I do like seedless.
Yeah, and the triploid, this was interesting to me, is a cross between a diploid, which is a 2-chromosome watermelon, and a tetraploid, which is a 4-chromosome.
Mhm.
And I mean, who figured that out?
Not me.
I love it. I love that I mean, it probably happened, it could have happened at
By
Oklahoma
accident.
State University, though. They do so much research. And, trying to find different
things.
varieties and strains of things. But yeah, someone figured out that the triploid, the seeds are underdeveloped, they're in there, but you can eat them. They're not
Mhm.
like that
They're
big
hard,
black,
yeah.
hard slimy thing that accidentally
Normal,
swallow.
right.
Anyway, so, those are, let's see. They must include a seeded watermelon variety interspersed throughout the field as a pollen source needed for setting of seedless fruit.
Mhm.
These are the little things that you
have
need
to
to
know,
know.
right.
Yeah. And use either an edible fruited variety or a pollinizer variety that serves only to provide pollen. So I don't know what that would be, but again, I think it would be kind of fun to give this a shot. Okay, so you have dark green stripes, light green stripes, round, oval, oblong, and they can vary from about 12 to 22 pounds. Sound like you're buying a turkey.
Mhm.
Doesn't
Right,
it?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so their soil pH can be as low as 5.5, but as high as 6.8. So they're got a little more play than you do with the strawberries.
Right.
So the Rush Springs Watermelon Festival, this is the one that's been around since 1948. Let's see if I've got, the watermelon harvest. These
Yeah.
spots where they've
Right.
been laying in the field.
Right.
A big old truck. I used
Mhm.
to have friends who would come up here to Rush Springs and go help
With the
harvest, with the watermelon
Oh.
harvest.
festival. Okay.
Cause they were out there chopping those things and tossing them on the truck.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
hard work.
Yeah, imagine.
I mean, averaging about 18 pounds.
A melon?
Yeah.
I imagine.
Anyway, so the watermelon festival, let's see, here's the picture I picked. Seed spitting contests, vendors, automotive show. I mean, I was there about 5 years ago for my mom and dad's 60th wedding anniversary.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know if I ever told you about when they got married. They were 17. They were about to start their senior year in high school. They told my grandparents they were going
You
to
did
the
tell me
watermelon
Yes, you
festival.
did. Yes.
And they went to Wichita Falls and got
You did
married.
tell me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so for their 60th wedding anniversary, our family had these t-shirts made, and we went to the watermelon festival and surprised them. And we took a picture by the giant watermelon slice out by the road, and someone even let us all come up on this kind of stage thing they had where these people were sitting.
Mhm.
And I got to share with everyone that
story.
story and that we were there and people were clapping for mom and dad. It was so sweet. It was such a great day. But they serve so much watermelon that day.
Yeah.
So much
I
watermelon. I think it's 50, yeah, right here, upwards of 50,000 pounds. And they just have these tables out and they are slicing those watermelons long way. You get a wedge
Like that.
yeah, like this. Oh my word. It is,
Huh.
and yeah. So, and then all kinds of entertainment, a rodeo. I don't know what all they have going on there that
Mhm,
we
every year.
Yeah, so here's some ways that you can eat watermelon.
Is that a salad?
Yeah, a little salad. I've seen that recipes for that. I thought that looked good. Salsa.
Mhm.
I've heard about people chopping it and putting it
Ice cream.
a nice or sorbet or whatever
Mhm.
this is. The
Grilled.
grilled looked tasty to me. Got a little lime juice here. Looks like some salt or something
Something,
to put on it.
Right.
I've grilled pineapple like that before.
Right. I've never seen.
I have not, but I'm wondering because I have that same allergy to bananas. And so I thought, well, I wonder if, because I can eat a frozen banana or I can eat one if it's in like banana pudding.
Mhm.
I just can't eat it just
Raw, just
straight out
plain
of the
peel.
peel.
Right.
So I'm
If
wondering
you were able to grill it,
if I could grill it, if it would change something.
whatever it is, yeah.
So I might be letting you know if
How that turns
if
out.
the grilled straight state vegetable is,
Works for
how's
you.
that? Yeah, but the best way to eat watermelon, just take a big old bite out of
Take
it.
a chunk.
Yeah, yeah,
That is.
yeah. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson about our state fruit and vegetable, the strawberry and the watermelon.
That's right. Didn't know we sneak one in on.
That's right. So two of your probably very favorite things to eat in the summer, and every time you enjoy a bite, think about this great state that we live
right.
in and how important these
Representing.
plants, are, these food producing plants are to our state. So tomorrow, I'm excited to have Zach Panera here as a guest. He is the new vice president at Camp Wallahia, which is at, I think it's Duncan Lake.
I believe that's right.
Anyway, he's going to be here to just give us all kinds of great information about Camp Wallahia. If you've never been out there, they have a lot of Boy Scout events out there.
Several different things.
A lot of different things going on. So anyway, he's going to tell us all about it, and you get a chance to meet him. So be sure and join us at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And until then, happy trails.